consider yourself like a percussionist or like a drummer?
Oh, I consider myself a percussionist. I won't accept any kind of limitation. If I hear a sound that I think will work in the particular song, I will add that particular instrument. Bongos, for instance, Latin percussion instrument, are traditionally played by slapping with your hands. A lot of times I hear a bongo sound within the groove that I'm playing on drum sets, so I'll just play bongos with my sticks. It may not be traditional by any means, but I just love the way it sounds, and that's the bottom line. We all have a heart, and we all breathe, and there's a rhythm to the way our body works, and therefore we're all born with rhythm, and it's just a matter of bringing that rhythm out. The way that I get into a student's head is to try to recognize and ask them right from the start what music they love. You know, what makes you tick? Yeah, this one over here likes Metallica. Well, I've dived right into hard rock and industrial and swing jazz, and I came from an orchestral background, and I've mixed all of these things. I've kept my ears open, and I've studied as many different styles of music as I possibly can, and I found that I've grown as a musician from understanding where all of these different players are coming from. And so I always ask the student what they want to learn. Often it's the same route to get to the final result. You know, you have to have diligence, and you have to have constructive practices, and you have to have a very strong emphasis on your technique, and you have to study the 26 rudiments. Often, I'll be out in a club, I'll do hard rock and punk gigs, and people will say, "Well, how did you do that, man?" And I'll say, "Man, I got that from studying in marching band." And so I say to the kids who are in marching bands and school orchestras, keep going for it, because that's how you're going to get to that final destination of being in the big Coliseum under the lights. I try to avoid having the student feel like the session isn't productive. If they're perhaps having a bad day, or I'm having a bad day, we go right back down to the basics. Rhythm, groove, dance feel. That was perfect. And then you're going to add 4 and. So let's take the tempo back a little bit. 1, 2, and. We get down, we play to the drum machine, we play to some records, and we feel that groove. You know what? And that takes us right through the day. Punk and ska are just raging in the clubs here in San Diego these days, and I just love it. It just has so much energy. You see a mosh pit of 100 or 200 guys going crazy, and it's just incredible. But one of the things that happens, though, is the bands fall apart, you wise guy, because they're shifting feels within the tunes, and they have a regular feel going, and then they have a double time feel, and a lot of times the rhythm gets lost between them. So as a structured improvisation, what I'd like to work on is 4 measures of a groove with a standard backbeat, snare on 2 and 4, followed by 4 measures where you double time the snare.
All right.
Where you're playing on the ands for each of those. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll both just improvise around between those 2 feels. We'll try to do some fills that make sense from one feel into the other. So this is a way for you to practice and work on your groove and feel without having a drum book in front of you. Okay. Think of it as conversational drumming. Okay. All right. Regular feel first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2. I recommend to every drummer practicing with a click track to reinforce the groove. Often you're going to find a situation where you're in the studio and it's required to play with a click track, and if a drummer doesn't rehearse with one, you're going to find yourself in trouble in the studio. That was a little example of some of the textures that you can pull out of a nice cymbal setup here. I was crashing over here on this Pro 16-inch crash. I was playing up on the bell in the center of the cymbal, getting some nice open and closed hi-hat patterns, and then playing the china for some accents, and then even some ride patterns up here. Simple things are the very best for a song. We all have rhythm inside us, and so I'd like to bring that out, to unlock that musician within. For the more experienced student, what I'd like to do is give them some new, fresh ideas to help them get better, help them to groove better. Bottom line with most drummers is they need to work on their feel, how the whole thing grooves. Doesn't matter if you're playing a lot of fancy riffs and fancy licks. If the song doesn't feel good, then you're not going to be cutting it as a drummer.
Is that getting you there?
Yeah. Just some ideas I wanted to see on tape and to see how it works out.